Hello and welcome back to another episode of A Tanker's View with me, Zero Option. And holy crap, I absolutely love you mad lads and lasses. You folks seem to enjoy a good bit of old-fashioned snark. And by Jupiter's cock, I will deliver. Based on a highly scientific poll I put up a week or two ago, I put up 4 sci-fi franchises that I love. And asked you which one you wanted me to crap all over. And the votes have it. So slap on your comm badges and your rubber space elf ears. I'm about to take a 65-ton tank-sized all over combat in Star Trek, and why it's just plain dumb. Let's cue the intro and get into breaking my own heart. Alright everyone, so welcome back. Where to begin? Oh god, where to begin? I know where. Let's pad the runtime a bit, shall we? I don't want to put all the juicy bits up front and all.
Joke's on you, I'm into that shit!
So let's have some explanation, some exposition, and some stuff like that. So let's point out the glaringly obvious first. I'm not shitting on the entirety of Star Trek, just their concept of combat in space, air, ground, and their ships. Oh yeah, and how they fight wars from TOS to Enterprise. And it's going to be Prime Universe, Alpha Canon only. No Star Trek Discovery, Lower Decks, Picard, Prodigy, or JJ-verse. It's not at all because I don't think they're real Trek or whatever, but only because I haven't really watched it or a whole lot of it at all. In fact, the only thing I've watched is the JJ-verse. So, I can't give an honest opinion on how utterly full of shit those other ones may or may not be. So this is a pretty damn hard one because, well, Star Trek is one of my favorite franchises. I grew up on original series reruns and saw every new episode of The Next Generation, DS9, and Voyager when they came out during the golden age of Trek. So I'll refrain from as little as possible from the "it had it coming" jokes or "I'm only doing this because I love you" jokes. Well, maybe. But I seriously enjoy its storytelling, its fantastical take on sci-fi. And to quote Voltaire on this one, bounce a graviton particle beam off the main deflector dish. That's the way we do things, lads, making shit up as we wish. The Klingons and the Romulans don't mean shit to us. When it comes to we're in trouble, just make shit up. So, just like the Star Wars videos, we're gonna do all that and just poke some fun at all the BS. Alright everyone, so for research on this video, I got really stoned and watched a bunch of YouTube videos and episodes. So in essence, I really didn't do any. I did, however, discover I really miss dill pickle Doritos and the guacamole flavored ones too. And that's kind of odd because I really fucking hate avocados. I wonder if Oreo Doritos are a thing. Anyway, because CBS or Paramount or whoever the owns Star Trek can eat the deepest, darkest part of my ass right after a 36-hour non-stop Taco Bell and butter chicken marathon, and by that, I will put no actual Star Trek footage in this video so they can't copyright claim shit.
Why? 'Cause fuck them, that's why.
So let's start with the very basics, shall we? Starfleet Command. Starfleet Command is a criminally negligent organization with the strategic, tactical, and planning skills of a herd of tranquilized quokkas. This organization can't decide if it's an exploratory fleet, a military, or a Girl Scout troop. I'll give you the most glaring example possible. Wolf 359, an absolute, unmitigated, murderous cluster. 40 ships filled with civilians attacked a Borg cube. Now keep in mind, this is an enemy that Starfleet is well aware of and had been aware of for at least a full year, and how utterly effing OP they are. Starfleet should have saved the Borg that 45 seconds it took them to dropkick that pitiful excuse for a fleet out of the way and shoved all those men, women, and children directly into wood chippers.
What? Jesus! That was brutal!
But then we wouldn't have eventually gotten, Ben Sisko's pimp hand, the Defiant. But more on that later. Now, before you all rush to the comments section before I finish speaking, chill. Alright? Just chill. Take a chill pill, it's okay. I'm about to present a reasoned argument, so feel free to ignore it and go directly to the comments and hit that dislike button. In a galaxy where you have Klingons, Romulans, Cardassians, Breen, Orions, Ankethi, Tholians, Gorn, and those gassy pyro things that burn planets to colonize them, in a galaxy where you're literally surrounded by and have hostile powers inside your own territory, you still chose to treat your fleet like a lightly armored mobile apartment building filled with non-combatants in space? Well, that's just criminally negligent. Only an heir to the kingdom of idiots could justify bringing families along when there's the potential for confrontation. Now, even taking into account that maybe, just maybe, the ships spend most of their time inside Federation territory and are allegedly safe. Guess fucking what? Space is big, 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 and mostly empty, and a very hostile place filled with black holes, pulsar, radiation, a lack of air, etc. Basically, nothing in space wants you alive except yourself. And Starfleet still thinks it's okay to fill a ship full of people who are technically would not only be less than useless in an emergency situation, But an active liability is stupidity incarnate. I'd say prove me wrong, but you can't. This is the real-world equivalent of putting submariners' families on a ballistic missile submarine. So now that I need to move on before we get any more off the rails, let's look at ship design, shall we? And oh mother of God, there's so much to unpack. In most other sci-fi universes, the ships tend to follow some sort of consistent sense, but for some fuck-off reason, we get this instead. What I can only describe as a universal design, so utterly incomprehensibly useless for just plain anything, it's not surprising that almost every occasion Starfleet gets their ass explosively rammed harder than a Ford Pinto at a demolition derby. So let's take a quick overview, shall we? So, point number 1. And if this video is seen by someone I actually deeply respect and look up to, I know he's going to disagree with me. He's already done a video on this. And it's windows. Fucking goddamn windows all over the ship. I don't care what rationalization you give, or if it's not actually glass or even transparent aluminum. No transparent material possesses the same structural strength as its non-transparent counterpart. Also, cutting holes in your hull for windows will weaken the structure of your ship. If you don't believe me, ask any engineer which hull will provide more consistent structural strength across most metrics, a homogeneous or non-homogeneous hull. So you're telling me that a sci-fi universe that has sensors that can detect how many people are in the washroom in a ship light years away, or they can replicate a perfect, rare porterhouse with roast potatoes and au jus dripping sauce from protein sludge in a bag, cannot figure out how to build wall-sized metamaterial view screens all over a ship hooked directly into the sensors, especially ones that don't go full explodium the second your ship is kicked in the shins. For Pete's sake, they're already testing the technology on aircraft in current setting today. And my next series of points up is pretty much the location of everything on every Starfleet ship, with a minor caveat on one point: propulsion location, and the complete and utter lack of protection surrounding it. Warp nacelles are pretty much one of two tap here to win buttons when it comes to pimp-slapping Starfleet vessels. Notice how out in the open, unarmored, and utterly fucking vulnerable they are. At least during the Dominion War, they took the effort to recognize this and correct it, so I'm not going to harp on it too hard. They figured it out, and they tried to correct it. Good for them. Alright, now I mentioned two tap here to win buttons. That second one is Starfleet ship bridges, right on the very top dead center of all the primary hulls, just hanging out, again, unarmored, with windows all over it. Just waiting for any enemy at all, with any actual strategic acumen to literally fire all of their weapons at it, crippling the ship. And to boot, everything on the bridge seems to just explode. Frequently. And none of the crew wear protective gear or restraints during combat, all but guaranteeing non-stop secondary injuries, further reducing what little or no combat effectiveness they might have had to begin with. And you know what the bitch of it all is? I came up with these counterpoints in less time than it took me to grind up half a grim, dust it with some shatter, and roll an ice J. And to think, in 50 some odd plus years of Trek, no one thought about this. I can't be the only one who thought, hey, maybe we shouldn't give any potential adversary an easy shot into our command center or propulsion system. No? Just me? Alright, well fuck it then. If I were writing Trek, I would have had Starfleet neuter the Klingons in under a year and the Romulans in 2. And I guess my third point about their ships is the lack of PDF systems. Honestly. Already, we have energy weapons that use collimated beams of particles that move at light speed or near it so as to be negligible in the distances involved. And sensors so advanced they can detect a Packlid fart in the next solar system over. And you can't figure out how to make a point defense system to target incoming torpedoes or disruptor bolts. For Pete's sake, even the Earth Alliance from Babylon 5 figured that one out, and they're like 500 years less advanced than Starfleet. It beggars belief. It beggars belief, really, but so far, I'm not shocked given the sinister levels of sheer incompetence Starfleet consistently displays. Anyways, moving on. Remember when I said earlier that space was really big empty place? Well, no one in Star Trek had either, because you get scenes like this one from Op Return and DS9. Yes, it looks stunning, but it's tactically stupid. You're telling me you couldn't go around that line of ships all in goddamn outer space? The galaxy is massive. It's huge. To give you an idea of how empty it really is, when galaxies collide, stars don't even come close to touching or colliding with each other. Impressive, yes? Well, Trek writers sure don't think so. They treat combat like RTS games circa 2003. They'll barely treat the area of combat as a 3D environment. I get there are cinematic considerations, but this is beyond egregious. You're telling me no one in that entire galaxy in all those wars said out loud, Hey, look, they parked all their ships in neat, orderly ranks, all tight and stationary. It'd be a shame if I were to, I don't know, drive my fleet around them. No one, not once. This shit hurts my brain when I watch TV. No wonder I smoke so much weed. And you know what, finally? Just because this is starting to really hurt me. Ground combat in Star Trek. No. Just no. Every single representation of ground or shipboarding action in Star Trek is written by someone who's never even been in a fist fight. From Klingon fisticuffs in the original series to the siege of AR-556, which I found so f***ing insulting it almost deserves its own video. Not a single thing about it is believable. And like Forrest Gump, that's all I got to say about that. And shit, guys, you know what? This video is actually hard to make. I rewrote this probably 6 or 7 times because it is genuinely hard to shit on something you love. And I really do love old Trek. It's wholesome, makes you think without being overtly in your face. And the best part is you can generally pick it up anywhere in any series. Even with the overarching plot points, it still maintained enough of a serial nature that it wasn't burdensome to pick up from any point. And it wasn't overly preachy. Anyways, that's my completely correct opinions, and if you've made it this far, I'm right proud of you. So if I made you laugh, I made you cry, hell, if I even made you facepalm and jump straight to the comments, hit that thumbs up button, or let's try that again, let's hit that thumbs up button, share it around, and guys, I'll see y'all on the next battlefield. Peace.